So today's video is marking quite a big milestone for me on this channel, and it is honestly a huge pinch me moment that I'm able to film this so soon. I honestly held out no real hopes for the fact that I'd be able to acquire it this year because of how sought after, hard to get this item is, and that is unboxing my first Rolex. Now, as many of you who are seasoned subscribers have probably picked up, I am the mother of handbags and shoes, but mostly handbags. I talk about them the most. Timepieces and watches, I have not really dabbled in that much. I do have some timepieces, but not necessarily in this kind of price bracket, not necessarily forayed into like the fine jewelry area as well. And actually something that I've been dabbling with is getting myself a nice luxury timepiece, specifically that of, you guessed it, Rolex. As you can see, this is not a Rolex bag, it's a Gallery Lafayette bag. But I actually just recently came back from a trip to Cuba. It was such a wonderful trip. You'll see some of the highlights on my stories, and I'm sure future videos as well that I'll make about it. Obviously leaving from the UK, which is where I live, while transiting through Paris because there's no direct flights, I was able to take advantage of the tax-free shopping. So let me put the bag to the side and open this up, and actually I've got the receipt in here, which I will, for full transparency, share with you prices, because I know for brands like Rolex, and even, you know, in just like the handbag community, people can be quite secretive about prices, so I'll be fully transparent with you about it. And you pull this out to reveal the green leather box inside, the iconic box, and obviously you have this sleeve here which you can just remove the green presentation box. So here we have it. Smells divine. Without much further ado, I give you the Rolex Lady Datejust, and oh my goodness, I hope you'll be able to see that she is a beauty. I'm just gonna take her out of the beautiful box, and I'm probably just gonna wear it actually, just because I am absolutely in love. I'm in awe that this is mine finally. I think it's probably worth me talking a little bit about the specs for those of you out there who are super techie and love this kind of stuff. This is the Lady Datejust. It is in the 28mm size, and it's in oyster steel and yellow gold. This also, by the way, in terms of its movement, is a perpetual automatic self-winding watch, so I just have to wave it about for it to work. And it's great because in previous instances I've had watches which are pretty much almost exclusively manual watches, so you have to get batteries for them, and that's a pain in the ass. I have so many battery operated watches that are just sat in my wardrobe gathering dust, and I just cannot be bothered to get the batteries. And I also have bought myself a beautiful self-winding case, so the watches spin and that will help me wind it. The bezel is fluted, like I mentioned, which is so nice. It glistens really in the light. The crystal is scratch resistant sapphire. It's got a cyclops lens over the date, which is super iconic. The water resistance is great as well. It's waterproof up to 100 meters or 330 feet, which is great because I like to swim, I like to dive. And even though the Datejust might not be the correct watch for that, I'm thinking more the Submariner or Sea Dweller are more appropriate. This one at least can do the bare minimum of, if you are in a situation where you must swim, rare in itself, but if you must, then you can go in with this watch, provided it's wound tightly and everything. There's plenty more features on it, like the other functions, the oscillator, other winding, power reserve, that kind of thing, but I feel like those are the more important details to mention. This is the first time I really looked into luxury watches this year. I have gone into the Rolex store in Harrods, where, you know, they have a great selection, but to be honest, it's more like a display shop. But I went to Harrods obviously because it is the place where I get a lot of my luxury goods. I honestly thought that it would be the place and it would be fitting in a way for me to get my first Rolex watch. And although I was able to try ones on and add my name to a wait list for actually a different watch, and I will pop it up on screen, it was a beautiful pearl face dial, Datejust, actually in the size 31. I think the smaller sizes seem to suit me better, even though in the past I've always collected watches that had bigger faces. From trying on some of the watches they had on display to also playing with their configurator online, I very quickly worked out that I wanted the Datejust specifically. It's a very classic watch, quite feminine and elegant and somewhat understated. Then I also wanted a fluted bezel. I think it shines so beautifully. And I also wanted dual tone hardware if possible. But to be honest, even after many prompts at Harrods, I was not able to get the watch that I wanted. I watched a lot of videos, done a lot of research on how to get yourself a Rolex, and it does seem almost a bit like the Hermes game, which don't really like to play games. If I've got the money, why not just let me buy it? I pretty much gave up on that, and I was thinking, actually, you know what? Maybe I'll try my luck in other boutiques. Could be like a Watches of Switzerland, could be another department store, either in the UK or abroad. When I was packing up my stuff to go to Cuba, I was just thinking, do you know what, it would be nice just to pass through if they have a Rolex. You know, they always have the Hermes, the Chanels and all the other luxury brands. If they have a Rolex shop, why not just check it out? And so fast forward a bit of time, we just ordered our flights and touched down almost instantaneously in Paris, Charles de Gaulle, and we had another 2 hours to kill before our final destination and decided to do some luxury shopping. So I very quickly located, you know, the classic Chanel Hermes. Also found a Rolex boutique. They had also a lot of other watches in that shop, and I think it was probably, just to link back to this bag right here, I think what the lady explained was that it was a Galeries Lafayette boutique, but they had obviously the different offerings. And from the research that I've done online and from speaking to people, it seems like a lot of Rolex stores are basically glorified museums, probably to boost the demand and the air of, I guess, mystique and desirability, and it's working because it's still ever more popular and the resales are great and everything. But I honestly wasn't holding out that much hope then as a result that I would be able to get anything, but I went there anyway because, you know, you don't lose anything. And then the lady there, who was super nice actually, came up and said, actually, we have 2 watches that are for sale today and that's it. And they were both Datejust actually, but different sizes, very different look. One of them was a Datejust, I think 36 perhaps, with a blue dial, silver hardware all over, very masculine I would say, and that was around 4,600 or maybe 5,000 euros. In my opinion, it is quite cheap or well priced for a watch of that caliber from that brand. Conversely, you had this watch right here, the Datejust 28, and with the mixed hardware, the fluted bezel, everything that I pretty much wanted in the other watch that I had earmarked and sent to my sales associate, but it's just in gold and silver. Having chatted to the woman and obviously having context of how hard it is to get Rolexes, she was explaining, you know, just this morning they had a few more and they go like hotcakes, and you can't reserve anything there. Obviously it's an airport, you have to be in the store ready to buy, and if not, it goes to the next person who is. And even before I was chatting to the lady, I saw a person try on one of the other of the 2 watches. So Rolexes go very quickly and it is very rare. I found it, in fact, I was taken aback that she was ready and willing to sell me a watch. She was actually a really lovely lady. She spoke to me also in Mandarin. We found out that we could all speak Chinese, so that was nice afterwards. But before then, you know, she just treated me like a human being. From some of the videos I've watched, they always size you up and down. They make you buy all these other things that you don't really want to then maybe down the line offer you something. But she was ready and willing to sell me the watch then and there. And so I tried both of them on. The other watch, which was a Datejust 36, it was nice, but I have other silver watches. Even though the blue dial was lovely and striking, it seemed a bit like I'll get it for the sake of Rolex and maybe because it's cheaper. Whereas this watch, I feel like fits my personality and my frame and all that perfectly. And actually, I didn't realise that I would love the gold and silver mixed hardware so much, but actually I have a lot of gold and silver toned hardware now in terms of other jewellery that I have, so it works perfectly. I actually really like all the other features about it. It's got the fluted bezel, which I always wanted. It had a light coloured dial, it's got the Roman numerals and everything, and it is just everything that I wanted, plus more, given that I got this watch for tax free. So it was basically a sale done within 10 minutes. I was super happy with this. I was not going to leave without this Rolex, because she basically said to me, if you don't like it today, someone else probably will, which I don't think is a sales tactic. Actually, I think that is really true, especially since I personally haven't seen any Rolexes out on sale ready to be sold. Doesn't mean that, you know, when I come back through the airport on my return flight, that there will be the same watch there with the same kind of even price tag potentially if there's a price increase. And this one actually was, I think, for retail, and I will tell you the price that I got it for tax free as well, so consider that I got an even bigger saving. So I think that one retailed around 7,500. However, having said that, now at the time of filming, I've just checked on the Rolex website and they've actually increased the price. I actually got such a great price for the fact that I was traveling outside of the EU. So this watch, which is the Datejust 28, this actually came to, in euros, 7,569. So that in British pounds, I think came to around 6,700-ish, which I was honestly flabbergasted cost me less or the same amount as the classic flap that I bought for my birthday in the summer. So that is a shocking thing, and to be honest, I'd much rather have in the future Rolex watches. This is such a milestone gift from me to me, and every time I look at it, I'm gonna think about the hard work and the memories and how I bought it on this fabulous trip to Cuba, which was such a memorable holiday. Highly recommend. Such an underrated country. I already want to go back. Full disclosure, I have used this watch. I have worn it to treks up mountains, horse riding, swimming, and many more things in between. And although it has hardware scratching that has happened, it's something that adds so much story and character to the watch, and I cannot wait to share it with my children one day. Anyway, that is the story of how and why I got this Rolex. And maybe this video won't be such a big deal to some of you out there who have seen a lot of luxury YouTubers unboxing an outrageous amount of luxury goods, least of all timepieces. But to me, as somebody who, you know, I don't have a sugar daddy, I have my own career, and yeah, I might get a nice gift here and there from a loved one, but on the whole, everything that I buy is mine and I've earned it. And I just love that I have a daily reminder of that nowadays, and also just something that looks so cool. It's not super flashy or overly in your face, but just enough. But even with that being said, I am slightly concerned about the safety, which I have now got, you know, something that is of this high value on my wrist, so I am almost definitely going to be babying this like my own child. But I think that, you know, luxury is to be enjoyed. I don't want to have to change too much for my lifestyle just because other people can't be bothered to work for theirs. It is my latest pride and joy, so I really want it to stay with me till I am old and grey. I hope you enjoyed the unboxing. Let me know if you've got a Rolex or want one down in the comments, what you think of luxury timepieces in general. Are there any other brands that I should be looking at? Thank you all for your support and for watching, and I will see you in my next one.